Hey everyone, me Kevin here. What would it take for Hyliion to go to $115 per share? Let's discuss exactly that in this video. So that way, if you are an investor in Hyliion, you know exactly what kind of bet you are making. And I highly encourage you to watch my first video on Hyliion if you have not yet. So that way you could see my full breakdown on Hyliion. That was 37 minutes long. It goes very into detail. However, I will admit to one mistake that I did make. I did accidentally mess up on the 2022 revenue projections. The other 36 minutes of that in-depth video are accurate. In this video, though, we will correct the revenue projections because this is how we're going to get to $115 per share at Hyliion. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down what I believe it's going to take to get there, so that way you know what kind of bet you're placing on Hyliion. How the heck do we go 5 to 5.5 times to get there? And in case you want a 20-second lowdown introduction on what the heck Hyliion even is, in case you haven't heard it and you don't want to go watch the other video, here you go. It's a company that A, turns existing semi-trucks into hybrids. Kind of think the Prius of semi-trucks with the same power of a regular diesel semi-truck by using a high-torque electric drivetrain. AKA, take a semi-truck, transform the guts, put a hybrid system in there, boom, you get a powerful EV system where you can take a diesel, combine it with EV, or you can take compressed natural gas and combine it with EV. That's pretty exciting. It's kind of like having the powerful motor that Tesla uses drive a semi-truck. This is pretty cool, especially since a lot of compressed natural gas semi-trucks are kind of not that powerful. The second thing Hyliion does is, in the future, they will sell you a semi-truck with their electric drivetrain already built into it. They'll partner or buy trucks from Freightliner or Mack, presumably with some of the guts missing, and then they will put their EV drivetrain in, and they will sell you a Hyper Truck ERX. That's one product. So you've got the hybridization system, and you've got the finished semi-truck version. Now, the hybrid system costs around $14,000 to $31,000. We've heard both figures out of Hyliion. The truck costs $220,000. All right, keep these things in mind. For now, let's get into what is it going to take to 5x this stock. Okay, number one. This number one is by far the most important catalyst for Hyliion. And this, if you are betting on Hyliion, is exactly what you need to track. So I would recommend writing these names down, because if you track these names along with other potential names that come up, you will know firsthand if what we expect to happen at Hyliion will happen, or at least what we hope will happen at Hyliion. So the hope is that existing truck users who are ordering Hyliion products come back and order more Hyliion products. Write this company down. Canada's CAT Transport and Wegmans Food Store in New York. These two names are going to be very important. Here's why. Right now, CAT Transport has 5 Hyliion hybrids, and these hybrid systems add about 800 pounds of weight to their semi-trucks. Thus far, according to CCJ Digital, quote, CAT is a believer. In fact, their vice president said that their driver using one of those 5 vehicles has become a, quote, huge proponent for the technology. He hasn't stopped talking about it. Very positive feedback in terms of power going uphill, regenerative braking helping with control going downhill, and the miles per gallon. The vice president went on to say that the driver is, quote, seeing an improvement in range and being able to stretch the tank of a gas a little bit further, but added that they need more data to evaluate Hyliion further. Okay, so anecdotally, this is good. It means that one driver is in love with the Hyliion hybrid system. Apparently, this driver is so enthralled with the gamification features of the Hyliion app that is within the truck that the driver is trying to make sure he purposefully gets as many driving points as possible to get the most efficient driving score as possible because he's so in love with the system. This all sounds cool. It's not bad. I like this. But if you're going to be looking at making money, if you're an investor in Hyliion, you got to look at this and say, look, I don't care about how the driver feels. That's great. What I care about, don't get me wrong, okay? What I care about is the transportation manager who's making purchasing decisions related to semi-trucks. It's very simple. I need to know that this fancy gadget and electric motor is going to make me money. If it's a fun toy or project or tool, Fine, that's great, but we're not going to retrofit another 110 semi-trucks unless these 5 semi-trucks prove that over the next 6 months, we've got substantially more fuel-efficient vehicles than the existing semi-trucks that we have without the hybrid systems. That's what we need, because a purchasing manager who is going to buy more Hyliion systems needs to go to their boss and say, I'm putting my reputation on Hyliion. I'm going to order another 100 of these systems, and instead of having 5 of these hybrid systems, we're gonna have 100 to potentially all of our 110 vehicles now being Hyliion partnered systems. Because the point is, if the product works so frickin' well, then any purchasing manager, presumably having funding available, will make the transition to a hybrid system as soon as possible, because every single day that goes by without a hybrid system installed, when you have the potential of having it installed, is money you're losing. It's kind of like having a really hot burning LED light versus a really hot burning incandescent light. If you're stuck with the incandescents, you are burning much more energy every single day. If you know that if you spend $2 now, that bulb's gonna pay for itself in 6 months, and then you're gonna be profiting, well, you wanna change that bulb as soon as possible. And so this is what we wanna see at CAT Transport. They have a fleet of 110 units. 10% of their units are compressed natural gas, the rest are diesel. But Hylion's hybrid system is so brilliant because it works on both compressed natural gas trucks and diesel trucks. However, because they only have 5 trucks right now using the Hyliion system, only 4.5% of their fleet is actually using their hybrid system. So my goal, or my vision for Hyliion, is that by February or March, we need to start seeing some orders come in from CAT Transport. For this stock to 5x in the next 4 years, I need companies that are buying Hyliion products to fall in love so clearly and deliberately that it becomes a no-brainer for them to order more systems. I want CAT Transport to go, we are going to order more hybrid systems right now before somebody else gets in line and we have to wait longer, because then it's just going to increase our cost. I guarantee you, the shipping boss is sitting down reviewing right now the cost per mile on those 5 hybrids versus the non-hybrids that they have. So if you're an investor in Hyliion, write this down. Check in on CAT Transport for additional orders or problems. My concern, and I don't want anybody to think that here I am flip-floppy on Hyliion or whatever. I have not invested in Hyliion. I will certainly say if I will invest in Hyliion, I am not shorting this stock and I'm not an investor in the stock. For me to invest in the stock, I have to see this ramp up of orders. I am not seeing that right now at CAT Transport, but it's early. CAT just announced their installation of these hybrid systems in October. So we gotta give them a chance. Give them till February, March. Let's see how they feel. Now write this one down. Wegmans food store in New York, if you didn't write it down earlier. 19 of their 175 trucks are compressed natural gas trucks. 2 of them are Hyliion hybrids. But remember, their entire fleet of 175 trucks could become hybrids because the hybrid system works on both the diesel systems and compressed natural gas systems. When Wegmans was asked to comment for this particular article, the CCJ article we're referring to here, Matt Harris, Wegmans Fleet Maintenance Department Manager, stated, quote, "Until now, we could only use diesel trucks to pull tandem sets of trailers. These diesel trucks are our most powerful engines, but have the lowest fuel economy, making them the highest diesel-consuming trucks we have. However, with this one hybrid electric CNG truck, we flipped that on its head and we've taken the dirtiest job on the highway and made it the cleanest part of what we do." This isn't bad. What he's saying is that generally only their diesel lineup can pull a tandem trailer. But with Hylion's hybrid and their electric powertrain system on a CNG truck, which is usually weaker, they can now pull a tandem using CNG. This is good. This is a good sign of power, and we want to hear that because natural gas trucks are usually known for a lack of power. But Wegmans' manager went on to talk about the cleanliness of that transportation because now they have a more fuel-efficient system and a more powerful system than they would ordinarily have. This is great, but it's honestly also not what I was expecting to hear. I wanted to hear him say, my natural gas trucks can pull tandems and I'm saving money, baby. I am ordering more. Now look, I don't want to sound like some impatient, spoiled brat, but the problem is Wegmans has had 2 Hyliions since September. Now, fairness, that's a short period of time, okay? But as an investor, I am impatient because I want to know that if I'm investing in a company, that this company is going to make me money. I don't like putting money into something and then hoping that it'll go up. I want to know that it's happening, so I want to see progress. So step one is I'm going to keep my eye very closely on CAT Transports in Canada and Wegmans. That is very important. We want to watch both of these. If they come out and go, hey, we're going to add one more hybrid, that's not going to make me feel good. If they come out and go, hey, we bought 5 the first time, we want to buy 20 now. Okay, now I might be getting very excited because that is a company deciding we are going to invest a lot of money because we think we're going to make money. When people invest money, they believe they're going to make money. And the best bet we can get for Hyliion is companies actually putting dough into Hyliion systems. This is highly different from the Agility pre-order that we have. I already talked about that in the last one. It's also very different from the American Natural Gas pre-order we have. Both of those are flawed and biased. Agility has an equity partnership in Hyliion, and of course a natural gas company is saying they want to partner because they want your natural gas business. Okay? CAT, Wegmans. Pay attention to those. Number 2, we need more renewable natural gas investment. Now, look, yesterday I read the comments and there are some people saying, Kevin, why are you so focused on renewable natural gas? Who cares if they're using regular natural gas versus renewable natural gas? Here's why you care. Renewable natural gas, being net carbon negative, provides tax credits. Tax credits are basically free money. So you want to use renewable natural gas when you can, because it's gas that comes from landfills and farms that gets stinky really quickly. And basically, you can use that by capturing that gas, taking methane out of the atmosphere, using that to create natural gas, hence renewable natural gas. Boom, now you have less greenhouse gases in the sky. And when you put less greenhouse gases in the sky, or you take these out of the air, what happens? The government says, please take this mail-in rebate and get yourself some tax credits. They are literally wanting to give you money to take pollutants out of the sky. So let's make that simple, for example, here. Let's say you go to Best Buy and you buy a PlayStation for $499 and they give you a $100 mail-in rebate coupon. You now buy the PlayStation thinking you were getting the PlayStation for $399. When you do your calculations, you're going, okay, I'm going to budget $399 for my expense. This is kind of the same thing that happens with the RNG credits when companies decide to buy the trucks. Because if the trucks can get them RNG credits, well, then that effectively reduces the cost of the truck, which means Hyliion could make more profit. But what happens if you go to the store to buy your PlayStation and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, sorry, we ran out of the mail-in rebate coupons. Well, all of a sudden the product became $100 more expensive than what you estimated it would cost. Well, the same exact problem exists with Hyliion systems. If you are relying on the renewable natural gas aspect of Hyliion systems to get tax credits to help you reduce the cost of mile of your driving for semi-trucks, and all of a sudden you can't get these RNGs, the renewable natural gas supply that you need, then you're not going to get the tax credits and you're not going to get that cost reduction. This is why RNG availability is so important. RNG availability is not just a matter of solely being green, it's a matter of harvesting those tax credits to reduce the cost of the Hyliion system, leading to more sales at Hyliion. This is why a lack of RNG supply is bad. Remember, if we took all of the RNG supply in the entire United States, we would be able to offset the diesel usage for trucks in transportation alone in just California. That means all of the other 90% of people getting serviced by trucks in America, because California is about 10% of the US population, the rest of the 90% of the population getting serviced by trucks, there would be zero RNG available for them. So this shows that we have a little bit of a problem. Now maybe we don't need that much. Maybe not everybody's going to do it. Maybe it's just going to be first come, first serve. But the point is, RNG availability being scarce is a problem. Number 3 thing that we want to pay attention to. This has to do with the Hyliion financial slide deck. Now, this slide deck, and I'm going to show it to you, was put together before their SPAC merger. And so here's what I want you to think about when you're thinking about the slide deck that I'm going to show you. First, let's use an analogy. If I came to you and I said, hey, give me 10 grand, I'm going to invest it for you. Well, if you actually give me the 10 grand, you're going to want to know what the F Kevin's doing with your money, because you're going to want to make sure that I don't go squander your money on something stupid. Like, you might go, okay, Kevin, here, I'll give you a blank check. I'll give you the 10 grand. But dude, don't lose my money, man. You know, obviously. And damn right, you should demand to know where the money's going. So you give me this 10 grand as a blank check. I better come back to you and show you that I just made a really good investment. Well, enter Hyliion's slide deck from June of 2020. This slide deck is a presentation to convince the people who are part of this Tortoise SPAC and merger between Hyliion and Tortoise. They are to convince the people who wrote the blank checks that Hyliion is an opportunity, that they are not going to have their money squandered. So this spreadsheet or sort of a slide deck is a marketing sheet. That is what it is. And it's important for us to go into this deck knowing that this is marketing because we need to dampen our expectations, right? But let's go ahead and jump on over and let's take some of their projections. Let's go to their summary financials. Okay, this is where I made a mistake in my last video. And again, that only took up about a minute of my last video. And I will always point out my mistakes when I make them. And so I am sorry for that. What we got to look at here is let's just jump over to 2024 estimates. In 2024, Hyliion believes that they could sell 19,000 Hyliion trucks and 15,500 hybrid electric systems. If they do this, they expect they could walk away with an earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization of $602 million, which we see right here as the EBITDA for 2024. Okay, well, we can do some fun things with this. Once we have their estimated EBITDA, we really get to play numbers. All right, so let's go ahead and grab a marker here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do these figures together to see what is it going to take to get Hyliion to sell for over $100 per share. Well, if we hit $602 million in EBITDA revenue, and let's say we get close to a net revenue. This would be after they pay their income taxes and after some of their interest expenses. Let's say we get to $500 million of net revenue. So this is net income. Net income is $500 million after everything. Their margin, their expenses, the EV systems, their employees, taxes, everything. They're going to net $500 million, let's say, in 2024. And we are using their estimates to sort of base this off. Okay, great. So if we get to 500 million of net, right now, and this will obviously change when we get there, but we'll use today's shares for the sake of comparison. Right now, there are 173,087,000 shares outstanding. So if we divide these two numbers, 500 million in net income divided by 173 million shares, we will get an earnings per share known as EPS. We will get an earnings per share of $2.88. So keep in mind, all I did here was I took their net approximately of 602, their EBITDA net. Then I took off taxes, and I assumed we might be around $500 million, taxes and interest. And then I divided that by their shares outstanding. That's it. That's all I did. The numbers are all right here, and I get 2.88. Well, remember, companies are valued based on a multiple of their earnings on the stock market. I can multiply 2.88 by two figures. I can multiply it by probably 40 is going to be a reasonable multiple if this company actually hits these growth targets. Although if this company hits these growth targets, it's going to be viral. And it's quite possible that it could sell for 80 times earnings. Okay? Well, all I have to do here is pull up a calculator and say, all right, let's do that math really quick. This is going to be what the share price would be in 2024 if they hit these targets. At 40 times earnings, this stock would sell for $115.20. At 80 times earnings, it would sell for twice as much, or $230.40. So here is your range based on a 40 to 80 times earnings multiple. So in other words, if Hyliion hits these sales figures that they are estimating in their marketing brochure for the SPAC, yes, this company could have share prices exceeding $100 per share within the next 4 years. That would literally be like doubling your money and then doubling your money again, and then doubling your money again. Like, it'd be good. You'd be 5xing your money. It's good, okay? You go from $20 to $40 to $80, and then potentially you would go even more than that, all right? But we have to realistically ask ourselves, what is it going to take to make that happen? How are we going to 5x this? And we've talked about this already in this video, but let's just do a quick summary. Number one, CAT Transport, one of the first adopters of this technology, needs to start begging for some more hybrid systems. Number two, Wegmans needs to get on the phone and start buying some more hybrids. Number three, it wouldn't hurt to have a bunch more businesses place $5,000 pre-orders for a bunch of hybrid trucks. I'm sorry, not hybrid trucks. They're hyper trucks. Hyper trucks ERX. That's what they're called. So it can get a little confusing. Remember, and I'm sorry because I might add confusion if I ever mix this up. But keep in mind, they have a hybrid system that they can install in existing trucks, and then they have a new truck that is not a hybrid. It's just purely electric, okay? So, and it can be fueled by a natural gas generator, so that way they could put renewable natural gas in it. So, wouldn't hurt to have a bunch more pre-orders for their hyper trucks. That's their semi-truck portion. But more importantly, we need to see and then, of course, it wouldn't hurt as well to see more development in the RNG space, but that's kind of, something on the side. I don't know how much control Hyliion's going to have over that. But more importantly, we need to see this small fire. I kind of think we're looking at this little campfire right now, and we're trying to kindle a fire, and we're, blowing on this fire, trying to get it to grow. We need to see this small fire turn into a raging inferno. We need somebody to come over with a bucket of gas and slowly pour this on so we get a fire. That's what we want. So if you're in this stock now, you are betting that is going to happen. You are betting that this technology will explode. You are betting that the availability of RNG won't matter to get those juicy tax credits that these businesses like CAT and Wegmans, even though they're saying, hey, like this looks nice, sounds good, we still got to think about it though, we're betting that these companies that are like, yeah, so far so good. We're betting that they are going to turn around and go, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. That's what you need, because otherwise all we have is a SPAC slide deck. You have to take that slide deck with a grain of salt. Those revenue projections are a form of marketing. And in fairness to them, I would do the same thing too. Oops, wrong screen there. I would do the same thing as well if I were a company that just got acquired by a SPAC. The last thing I want is, and remember this, the last thing you want when you merge with a SPAC is for all the people who got into your Hyliion shares via blank check to look and go, oh crap, no, I don't like the potential of this company, and dump shares, because then the share price falls. You don't want your share price to fall. So you have to have a convincing marketing piece. That's what the slide deck is. So hopefully I'm not coming across as bagging Hyliion. That's not the goal here. The goal is simply to provide perspective and understanding so that way you know if you're investing in Hyliion, what you're getting yourself into. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm simply outlining what you got to be paying attention to see that 5x growth. Thank you so much for watching this. If you found this particularly helpful, please do consider sharing this, consider subscribing. My goal is always to provide the most in-depth and detailed perspective that you can find in regards to stocks, financial information, real estate, or news. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.